Sometimes I feel like I'm in Barcelona. Sing anytime I hear the tune, I just start flipping away. And all I wanna do is go back, back, back. Sometimes I feel like I'm in Barcelona.
Okay, good morning everyone. This seems like a weird setting. We're sitting at the bowl of a skate park in Barcelona, right near Diagonal Mar, so really close to the sea. You might hear some background noise. That is people jogging around, there's people riding their bikes, and there's occasional traffic coming by. Next to me, a really interesting gentleman sitting there, Kristof, and he is also known as Swentel online.
Swentel, yes.
Say hi to the people, Kristof, and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kristof. I'm from Belgium. So I can actually say, I will pronounce it in Flemish, Kristof De Jaeger. People have actually trouble pronouncing it in English mostly.
I know a lot about pronouncing.
Yes, yeah, I can imagine.
Name. Teesverin, not the easiest name to pronounce. So Kristof De Jaeger. Kristof De Jaeger.
Yes, Kristof the Hunter, they sometimes call me as well. But yes, I'm from Belgium. I am a developer, Drupal developer. I own my little company called Apps and Kaas.
And explain that, because that makes sense in Dutch. That's even a tiny bit funny.
Yeah, it is funny. It's especially funny when you have to try and explain it in French. But Apps and Kaas, basically when you explain it in English, people hear apps, and that means that we're doing mobile applications, and Kaas is just funny. So basically when you're in Ghent, if you order a sandwich with apps and kaas, we just say it a little bit differently. We say apps and kaas. Yeah. And I mean, when we were brainstorming about our name, about the company,
it's like ordering a ham and cheese sandwich.
Yes, more or less.
So they're a ham and cheese sandwich developing mobile applications.
Yes.
With a Drupal touch, I guess.
Yes, yes. We are using Drupal as a main CMS for creating the websites as well. Also because it has good integration with services, and with services you connect to mobile applications.
Indeed,
so
you do.
It's a logical.
That's the way to go. Yeah. So it's I'm going to use a hype term right now, headless Drupal.
Oh, we're not really looking at that at this moment.
But it's essentially what you're doing. Service layer directly into the mobile apps.
Yes, that's essentially what we're doing. I've been looking into Symfony as well, because it's more lightweight than Drupal is at this very moment, at least Drupal 7. But with the upcoming release of Drupal 8, which has inbuilt support for REST services, that is probably going to be the way to go.
It's really cool, because I've been looking out for that. A lot of people, maybe also not that tech savvy, are interested in services. People who aren't developers, and I believe that Drupal could be a thing.
Yes.
The Zen framework community does this with App Agility. I'm not sure if you heard of App Agility.
I don't know.
App Agility is actually an application framework that generates RESTful services without you having to worry about all the HTTP specifics, about the headers, about this and that. It does that for you. So is that the way to go for Drupal as well?
Yes, because it's built into Drupal Core 8 right now. So there is no UI, but UI is in Contrib. So you can download your user interface and you can create your own REST points, and then basically everything is handled for you, even also permissions, access, and stuff like that. So it's extremely easy now to set up a RESTful
extremely
service.
Easy. And that was one of the key points from Dries' keynote yesterday as well. Make sure that people who aren't developers are first-class citizens too.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is a recurring theme, I guess.
Yes.
Especially with the competition with WordPress.
I'm not sure whether Dries is looking at WordPress as a competitor. Well, I guess he does.
He could be, right? He has to make money, right?
Yes, of course.
He has to make a living.
But I mean, Dries' dream is to cut out the developer, basically. He wants to eliminate me. His end goal is that anyone can just install or download Drupal, install it, and create his own website. But for things like services, you need to have some kind of background and know what's going on. But Drupal has this tendency to have the APIs built in and a user interface. That's one of the biggest powers that Drupal has.
Very powerful. And people sometimes ask me, what should I take? Should I take Joomla, Drupal, WordPress? And my main answer is, if it's for a very simple website, simple content creation, I just pick WordPress because it's very simple.
Yes.
If you need more elaborate ways of presenting that, and you need, I believe, more guarantees from a technical perspective, you want to scale better,
then you go for Drupal. Yes.
I have no use cases for Joomla right now.
Does it still even exist?
It exists. If there are Joomla people out there,
sorry.
Claim your existence. Make noise. But you speak about this with a lot of confidence and a lot of knowledge. You are a core developer.
Yes.
of Drupal and have been
Yeah.
for a while.
I've been contributing since I think 2009, something like that.
Which is
And, yeah.
a long time already.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah.
relatively speaking, these bugs are like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
We
but
had a shower.
We had a shower, and bugs are just crawling onto
Yeah.
us. It's not flies, which is a good thing,
Yes.
because we don't want flies near
No,
us,
no.
because that means something different is going on. So yeah, Kristof is, you can call that a long-time contributor.
Yes, yes. It was in the beginning. It was just looking out for things I could help out with. But I guess it started really in 2010 when Yves Schedma, Whitechat, is one of the other many core contributors. He mailed me whether I was interested to help along with a module called Field Group, which was a really popular module, but it didn't get ported for Drupal 7.
It was a Drupal 6 module?
Yeah, so it was a Drupal 5 module already, yes.
Okay.
So, but when in the Drupal 7 cycle, Field API, or previously known as CCK, a really important layer of Drupal, was ported and moved into core, but Field Group didn't get into it. And so he mailed me whether I was interested in maintaining it. I was like, sure, I mean,
Yeah,
I'll do
let's do
that.
it.
Because everyone is using that module. So I started porting it, but I had to know a little bit how core worked at that point. So I deep dived into it, so in what is called Field API and Field UI. And then I was like, this is interesting, this is
A
fun.
love story in the making.
Yeah, something like that.
But that means you probably had some experience with Drupal prior to becoming a contributor and prior to be in that community.
Yeah.
So how
yeah.
did that go, step by step? So what was your first experience with Drupal?
My first experience was basically accidental. Someone asked me whether I wanted to create a website in something which was called Drupal. I was like, sure, why
Yeah, let's
not?
do
I
it.
mean, let's do this.
And that was the year?
That was 2006, I think.
Okay.
So that's relatively old already.
I remember,
That's
yeah.
almost 10 years now. But so that was, I think, Drupal 4.5, something like that.
Oh.
But you saw like Drupal in 4.5, it's of course different with Drupal 8 right now. But you saw the founding layers already, and I was like, wow, this is an interesting CMS. And then here I am 9 years later.
And then that community thing came, because I remember I have been using PHP since 2004 actively, and all of a sudden in 2007 I see this thing called the community. People who talk about the same things, and you look up to certain people.
Yeah.
Like these are the guys and the ladies who do things.
Yeah. Well, Dries is from Belgium.
He is Belgian.
Yeah.
That makes it easy for us.
Yes, it makes it easy for us. And there were a lot of meetups in Ghent as well. So I think my first meetup, Dries still lived in Belgium, and he actually came to the meetup. And I was deadly nervous because I had to talk about a website. I was like, ooh. But it turns out that he's really just a normal guy.
He's a normal
who's
guy.
extremely passionate about the web. So
I remember back in the day when at Combo we decided to change the website. We were considering Drupal. What do? You call Dries, and then he came to the office.
Yes.
I think that is not going to fly these days.
No,
That'll
probably
be
not.
hard. That'll be
Yeah,
hard.
it's going to be hard, I guess.
But Belgium is known for its Drupal community, and you see, I'm not. I don't consider myself an actual Drupalist yet. I still see myself as an outsider, or a hang-around. But this is my 4th or 5th, I can't even remember, Drupalcon, and I see that Belgians are represented.
Yes, yeah.
They are.
I think there's around 300 people at least from Belgium here now in Drupalcon Barcelona. So
Okay,
maybe
didn't know
more. I don't know. We'll see it this evening. There's a Belgium evening this evening. So
I did not know that. I will be part of that.
Yes. I don't know the exact details where it is, but it's on Twitter somewhere. So
If it's on Twitter, we'll
and
find
maybe
it.
Dries, sometimes Dries comes along as well. Maybe not too long because he has a lot of appointments
Yeah, I
nowadays.
think, yeah.
But he definitely tries to just talk to everyone, and yeah, that's one of the nicest things. He just walks around, talks to everyone. He's not like, how do you say that? He's not unreachable.
He's not, but I think it's hard for him, like, and hard for all the figureheads of the Drupal community, just to be able to do whatever you want to do. Like, you probably want to hang out, and I'm bothering you, putting you in front of the camera.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
But there's other people, like for Dries, if he, I keep calling him Dries because we're speaking English. Dries. For him, it must be hard, just walking around, being approached by people, or when he passes by, people say, "Look, it's
and a lot of selfies and things like that." But
that is a bridge too far for me. Like, you could say, I respect that person, and he is an important part of this community, and I'm a fan of his.
Yeah.
But we can't. The moment you start considering them rock stars, it's going overboard.
It's kind of weird. I mean, I sometimes have that feeling as well.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I know you do.
And sometimes it's awkward. And that people then just stare at you, and it's like, that's mental. He has made this play suite, and then he's a core contributor. It's sometimes weird.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's fun to hear the stories when people talk about Drupal, and then they're using a module that you have written, and they use it in every project. It's like, wow. I mean, I made a difference somehow for someone else, which is nice.
Which is very nice,
Yes.
and that's something we all can be proud of, especially. If we look at the internet industry, a lot of companies start to get it that they need to invest in community people because they have the best connections. Why is the reason that I'm here? To just talk to people like you, other people, other core contributors, users, clients. It's the way the industry works these days. And then I pity the fools, I'm going to say it straight to your face, I pity the fools who do 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's true.
We're here, we're not home, so we're not in our couch.
No.
It's an interesting setting,
Yeah.
but it's hard work, and I appreciate that work.
Yeah.
You remember the first time we met?
That was PHP Benelux?
That was...
No,
that was the Drupal meetup.
There was a Drupal meetup at Campbell.
The
yes.
Doug.
Yes.
The Duck. And I didn't know who you were. You seemed like a nice guy, so I started chatting with you. And I remember that I was dissing the quality of Drupal code back then.
I don't remember.
And in the end of the evening, I remembered, I kind of noticed that you are deeply involved. Like, that wasn't maybe my best move, but I kept it respectful.
I don't remember the exact details anymore.
It was a fun thing, and for me, it's cool to sit here next to you and talk about these things in a normal fashion without being all too fanboyish. I think that's what makes it work. So, any other plans? Any other ambitions? What's on your table these days?
Oh, what's on this table these days is basically getting the release candidate out of Drupal 8. So I've been here already since Friday, and I've been sprinting all day long, and sometimes even in the evenings as well. I actually had like a aha moment at some point where I was looking at an issue at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't really
I thought you would say 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, let me finish it. So I didn't really find what was going on, and then I went out for dinner, and then I came home in a hotel, and I was like, oh, I know actually what I have to fix. So I opened up my laptop at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I fixed it, and it was committed the next day after.
Nice.
So that's one of the things that as a developer sometimes you have to let things go, and then a couple of hours later you find a solution in your head.
And I think as a developer you can't be pressured into releasing that thing, because I have to admit, from a commercial perspective, a bit disappointed that we don't see a actual stable release, a GA, or how do you call it?
It has been a while. I mean, a lot of people really want it. Even all the core contributors are really, like, they're getting tired in some ways. I mean, it's been
3 years in the running?
It's 4 years, basically. It's been since Chicago that we actively have been talking about, okay, what's going to get into Drupal 8. But we're really, really close, and actually the product is going to be amazing. It's really amazing.
I went to see some very specific talks yesterday, and I've heard a lot about Drupal 8, and I've seen a lot of Drupal 8 presentations, but every now and then you see this hidden gem that you say, okay, this is going to make it cool. Even from my perspective, I work in the hosting industry, so I don't write Drupal code myself, but it's my job to maintain these sites and make sure they're scale well, they're secure, they're highly available, and I saw some really interesting stuff. So Drupal 8, definitely on my radar, but again, you can't pressurize yourself into releasing it.
No.
When it's done.
When it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a difficult balance to keep, because people are putting the pressure on your shoulders, release it. And when you fall into those tricks, you release something that is not entirely ready.
Yes, that is true.
And then it's a matter of, and that's the reason why a lot of people skip the .0 releases, because people felt pressurized into releasing it.
But I think one of the problems that happened with Drupal 7 is that when the release came out, you also have this whole ecosystem which is called Drupal content modules. They weren't ready at that point. A lot of modules are in a state, they're not exactly stable, but there are already a lot of Drupal 8 ports of Drupal content modules for Drupal 8. So in that sense, the adoption will be much faster, and also there's a lot of modules from Contrib that went into Drupal 8 core. So I think adoption will be actually really, really faster than with Drupal 7.
I hope, because Drupal 7 has been out there for a while.
Yeah.
We have been as a company supporting it for ages now, and
yes,
I feel that we are ready for this new deal.
Yeah.
And I've been playing with Drupal 8 since Portland, Drupalcon Portland.
Yes.
And it was slow.
Yes. Yeah.
I think you've solved most of those issues.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually much better nowadays. I think one of the exciting things for me as well. I'm not a hoster, but I'm really interested in that as well. And you do a lot of varnish things. I mean,
I do a lot of varnish.
There's a lot of. How do you say that? Like Wim Leers and Fabian X. They
I went to that was the talk I was referring to. I didn't specify it explicitly. I went to their CDN talk.
Yes.
Blew my mind.
Yes.
Blew my mind.
Yeah,
this is where I'm going to focus on the moment Drupal 8 is getting released. Caching on the edge.
Yes.
Those sorts of things. Even being able to cache for authenticated users.
Yes.
Wow.
That's one of the exciting things that's going to be in Drupal 8. There were some solutions, or there are solutions for Drupal 7.
Edge side include kind of things. Edge side include kind of things.
Yes. There's a module called out caching, which more or less does what is now in Drupal 8 core, but you still have to really look out for all the things. It's now built in Drupal 8 core, which is really exciting.
This is going to be spectacular, definitely from the point of view of performance and scalability.
Yes. Yeah.
But what people tend to forget, and that is what Fabien, the inventor of Symfony, so for those of you who aren't aware of the situation, Drupal 8 is switching out a lot of its internal work, its engine, and is outsourcing that, so to speak, to the Symfony community. So Symfony is really good at these base HTTP components, and Drupal is taking them over because that will dramatically speed up the time of development, and will make sure they don't have to care about other stuff that other communities do.
Yeah.
So Fabien Potentier is the guy who invented Symfony, says that we've built this and we know you're gonna have to run varnish in front of it. It's a given.
Yeah.
And I believe, or I think that for Drupal 8 it will be the same deal.
Yeah.
If you don't have varnish,
then there is internal page caching. That's something that has been built in since, like, I think Drupal 4 maybe, or something like that.
But that's not the same as the Boost module, right?
No, it's something different. It's database caching, which is, I guess,
slowish.
fine. Well, it's fine, and it's probably fine for just a really small static site. But once you go really complicated, and especially when you go with authenticated users, then you need something like varnish as well, because But it's now built into Drupal 8 core. It's one of the many exciting things that is in Drupal 8 right now. So,
and that is something you people definitely need to check out. Drupal 8 when it's done, of course. I hope this year.
I hope so as well, actually.
Probably next year then. Okay. So that's all the time we have today. Thank you, Kristof, for spending some of that valuable time with me, and see you on the next episode.
Bye bye.